Good morning. Well, actually, to me, it's good afternoon. Uh, we are April 2020 safety meeting. There'll be we'll be covering part 1 of distracted driving, part 2 distracted pedestrian. Also, we're going to cover injury prevention. Part 3 is emergency vehicle evacuation. Security awareness, and also we're going to watch a couple of video drive cam. Video 1 will be pedestrian, and video 2 would be bicyclist. Also, you're going to have to make sure that when you watch these safety meeting, there'll be a couple of forms that will be distributed to dispatch, and you need to make sure you grab the forms that is included in the packet. The packet is the King County Division 588. It's a cell phone mobile communication device acknowledgement. Make sure that in the bottom here you print your name, date it, employee signature, and the rest I'll fill that up myself. Also, there'll be a second page of that acknowledgement, which is the S9. It's a cell phone mobile communication device. Please read through it and fill them up. You can sign it anywhere in the bottom here and date it, okay? Also, there will be questionnaires that's in the packet. Make sure that you put your name and date it. There will be some question, and please answer them when the video is playing. There will be a second part 2, and also a drive cam review. Make sure that when you watch the drive cam, write down what you see on the video and how you could prevent them. And most of all, I like the crossword puzzle. It's an activity, so fill this up and make sure that write your name, and so that way once you're finished with this packet, turn it to me, and so you can get the credit for the hour safety meeting for April. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with part 1, distracted driving.
Mobile phones are great. We can keep in touch like never before, and they're an amazing getaway to all sorts of useful information. But here's a statistic that's not so great. People who use mobile phones while driving are 4 times as likely to crash. That's right, you're 4 times as likely to get in a wreck when you use your phone while driving. And since nearly everyone who drives has a mobile phone, the number of people tempted to engage in this risky behavior is huge. In fact, according to the federal government, about 9% of all the people on the road are talking on their mobile phones at any time during the day. The results of a recent AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety survey showed that more than 2 out of 3 drivers admit to talking on their cell phone while driving. Worse yet, 1 in 3 say they do so pretty often. Clearly, talking on a phone while driving is a widespread danger that needs to be addressed. People need to know the risk. Education is the key.
The National Safety Council did a survey in 2014, and we found that 80% of people mistakenly believe that hands-free is safer than handheld.
Multiple studies have shown that hands-free devices provide no safety benefit whatsoever. Both cell phones and hands-free or voice control features in dashboards can be distracting.
Some research has found that activities like voice texting can be even more distracting than typing a text while driving, if you can believe that.
And the devices give drivers a false sense of security. The reason for this is something called cognitive distraction. We might think our brains can multitask, But your brain actually can't process two demanding thinking tasks at once. Instead, your brain will switch back and forth between two tasks. So when you talk on your cell phone or try to do voice control tasks like voice to text, your brain must switch between the conversation and driving. Your brain prioritizes activities, and as scary as it sounds, the drive can actually become secondary. Drivers can also experience what is called inattention blindness. It's sort of like tunnel vision. You're looking out the windshield, but your brain isn't processing everything. For example, a cell phone distracted driver might be looking through the windshield, but not see a red light and not realize they have to stop.
The most important things to know are hands-free is not risk-free, and that even using some features on the dashboard can be distracting.
So do yourself and everyone else on the road a favor. Hang up when you drive, and urge your coworkers to do the same.
Question, what is our electronic device policy? The answer to that is the policy of every transportation that use of personal handheld or hands-free mobile phones or email devices while driving a company or client-owned vehicle is not permitted, unless in case of an emergency, imminent danger to life or persons. Hands-free, earpiece, corded, or wireless shall not be worn or used at any time while driving company vehicle. Make sure that when you're driving company vehicle, make sure your phone is off at all time. Stowed away where you can't reach it. If you have a emergency, a family emergency, please give dispatcher number. The dispatcher will get a hold of you and relieve you from your duty. Cell phones are not to be used as a GPS device. Everybody has to get a GPS device. You cannot use your cell phone as a GPS device because it's prohibited. Cell phone is prohibited. And also, if you're using it as a GPS device and if the phone rings, the first thing we do is answer the phone. We do have a drive cam which will capture a driver talking on a cell phone. So please turn it off while you're driving a company vehicle. What is a cognitive distraction? Cognitive distraction occurs when there's some sort of mental distraction and it's caused by something else affecting your attention or concentration, keeping you from focusing on the road ahead. Number 3, what is example inattention blindness? Well, inattention blindness is a result of cognitive distraction when the information a driver sees not processed. Usually it's a failure to notice or fully visible but an unexpected object because of attention was engaged on another task or event or object. For example, daydreaming or multitasking. Thinking about things other than driving, such as upcoming activities, work issues, or responsibilities. And for example, if, like at the end of the day, we're done, we're thinking about what to do after work. Any emotion that distracts you, including anxiety, stress, fear, frustration, sadness, or confusion. Part 2 will be distracted pedestrian.
We're back at 8:10 on this Friday morning. This morning on Ross reports an important new warning for all of us who text while walking, and we all do it.
Yeah, new numbers show it could be a lot more dangerous than you may think. Today, National Investigative Correspondent Jeff Rossen is here with a revealing experiment. Sometimes you think it's kind of funny videos that you're watching, but it can be really dangerous.
It can be very dangerous, and let's be honest, we're all sort of guilty of this, right? This is literally me every single day, walking around the building, walking around New York City, head buried in my phone, even walking through intersections. Sometimes I don't even know how I got there. I'm emailing or texting so much. You know you do it too. Now some of those scary new numbers out, nearly 6,000 pedestrians were killed in the U.S. last year alone, and there's growing concern from police around the country about doing what I just said, walking across streets while texting. Turns out our brains physically change when we text. This morning, guys, stand by. You're going to see my brain in real time while texting. It's a scary place up here. Plus, we are setting up a special experiment with surprising results. The videos are startling. Watch this man texting and walking right into a wall. This person falling face first into a pond while on his phone. This guy, so distracted, he falls downstairs. And this person walking right into a fire truck. Think it can't happen to you? Think again. We are setting up an experiment, shutting down this park with the help of Miami-Dade police. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Right on the other side of this building, we have a group of viewers, including my parents. I want to walk away a little bit because they think we're here to test them to see how well they text while walking. Grammar, spelling, things like that. But here's what we're really here to do. We want to see how well they walk while texting. You have my number in your phone, obviously, Mom. Let's hope. I want you to just text me what you did yesterday as you walk from here to there. Right away, it's not great. A little wobbly, though. A little wobbly. In fact, a study shows that 60% of texters can't walk in a straight line. Go for it. That's my dad, all over the place. 5 seconds in, he's already off course. There you go. Dad, we were actually testing before, is to see if you could walk a straight line.
Did I?
No, you literally went diagonal inside the crosswalk. And then you almost went over that rock, but you missed it just by a hair.
Unbelievable.
It's not just my family. Watch as this woman heads straight for the bushes, almost tripping over the curb. God. Person. He's not walking straight at all. After person. Stop. Veering off. What were you focused on?
My phone.
And most dangerous of all, the officer notices most aren't even looking up when crossing the street.
That crosswalk in that intersection, that's what's dangerous.
Car comes and hits you. Bicyclist, anything. Come on, we're all guilty of it. Turns out it's all in the brain. A neuroscientist at Mount Sinai Hospital showing us.
So this is our EEG headset. It's going to be monitoring brainwaves in real time.
How many electrodes are on this thing?
We've got 8 electrodes. They give us full coverage of your entire head.
Good luck. First, I walk normally without texting.
I can confirm you have a brain, and it's working nicely.
I'm walking at a regular pace on the treadmill.
I'm not used to walking without my phone. This is weird. Get relaxing.
The doctor locks in a reading. Now let's see what happens when I start texting.
All right, Jeff, I'm going to hand you your phone. Okay. What I want you to do is get in a text conversation with someone, just like you normally would. It shouldn't be hard. Okay. And yeah, just go for it. Go back and forth with someone.
I'll do my producer who's right over here. We text for several minutes as we normally would. The entire time, I continue to walk.
All right, Jeff, hop off. Let me show you your brain.
That's scary. What do we got?
Over here on the left, this is your brain when you're just walking and not focusing on anything else. Now look at all this white space. This tells us that you're focusing on just the one thing. Now, we're going to move over here and look at texting and walking at the same time.
It's that big of a difference.
Absolutely. Your brain is completely overloaded.
That's right. Look at the side-by-side. Remember, that white space when I'm just walking means I'm totally concentrated. But when I'm texting and walking, there's so much red, my brain is having trouble doing both.
It's an absolute myth that humans can multitask. The only thing that we can do is we can rapidly switch between 2 tasks. But that means that we're doing both of those tasks a little poorer than we would if we were just trying to do one of those tasks alone.
So next time you're crossing the street, put down the phone.
My brain on texting.
Told you it was scary up here. By the way, the New York Times posted a blog about this a few years back I found fascinating. They bring up a really interesting point about our blind spot. Let me bring the camera. Come on over here, John. I want you to take a look. This is what you see basically when you're texting. I'm texting my producer Connor again. You can see, you only see the angle right in front of you. In fact, we have an overhead shot that I want to show you as well. This green area right here is what you can see, but the red area all over here, that's all your blind spot. And if you think about it, that could be everything from a car to another person. It literally could be anything, guys, as I try to walk a straight line back here. And this is something we're all guilty of. And again, those videos are funny, but it can be incredibly dangerous when you cross the street.
The multitasking thing, we all think we kind of can do it. Like, I feel like I'm aware of what's going on. I've got it good enough, but wow, that was revealing.
The best sign is your doctor saying, I can confirm you have a brain. That's a good moment.
I still don't buy it.
It's a fascinating piece.
I'll see you guys in 30 Rock today.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Well, question number one, people who are distracted in some way present a hazard for drivers, and how? Well, a lot of people are focused on something other than walking. The path in front of them, things like, talking or texting on a cell phone or reading a book. They have their heads down and not looking at the traffic on their left or right, or any activities around them. So as a professional driver, we always have to expect the unexpected and always watch for pedestrian and bicyclists. Why is it important to make eye contact with pedestrian and bicyclists? Well, we all know that they're not always looking for us, so we have to make sure that we give a two tap of the horn to get their attention, so that they know that we're there, and we have to have eye contact with pedestrian or bicyclists. Now we're going to move into injury prevention. Part 3 is emergency vehicle evacuation.
From across the street, the images are enough to stop you in your tracks. But just imagine being 11-year veteran driver Donnell Maxley behind the wheel, looking out his rearview mirror and looking again.
We gotta get off.
Maxie saw this, the fire starting and engulfing the entire back of the bus in mere seconds. As other drivers tried getting his attention too, his split-second decision.
We gotta get off. Everybody get off. Get off, it's a fire.
Even more dramatic, the rescue. A Milwaukee man in a wheelchair helped off by the driver, a passenger, and another good Samaritan who rushed on to help. All the passengers safely off in a mere 23 seconds. The Milwaukee County Transit System released the new video Friday after a 3-week investigation. Officials believe a small hole in a hydraulic hose leaked vapor onto the hot engine and ignited.
This was an incredibly rare event that happened, an unusual sequence of events mechanically that led to this. We've never seen anything like it. Other transit companies haven't seen anything like this.
A professional operator anticipates and avoids emergency situations whenever possible. Although emergencies, by their nature, can sometimes be unavoidable. When an emergency does strike, you need to be able to remain calm under the circumstances and take quick action to avoid or minimize danger to yourself, your passengers, and your vehicle. The responsibility of the operator goes beyond driving the bus. The operator is also responsible for the care and protection of customers. Your passengers will depend on you for help and guidance during any emergency. There are 7 basic steps to emergency management. Step number 1, remain calm. You need to breathe and think. Step number 2, assess the situation. Understand the situation. What type of emergency is it? Who is affected? How severe is it? What risks does it pose? Next, determine the severity of the emergency. And lastly, plan a course of action. Step number 3, protect people, then property. Remember, you are the leader. Protect people from injury first, then prevent further damage to property second. Step number 4, obtain help. Call dispatch. Notify dispatch immediately. Be ready with information to request appropriate assistance, such as police, fire, or medical. Step number 5, reassure and assist your customers. Reassure your customers so they will stay calm and will follow your directions. Step number 6, secure the scene. Take the necessary steps to prevent further damage or injury. And lastly, step number 7, gather information for appropriate incident reporting. In the event of an emergency situation, remember that you are the captain of the ship and must act as the authority until help arrives. If you are involved in an accident, even a minor one, stop the vehicle, remain calm, turn on your emergency flashers, and engage the parking brake to ensure the vehicle will not move. Here are some steps to remember if you are involved in an accident. Step number 1, calmly get the attention of your customers and explain the emergency. Give clear directions and urge customers to remain calm, follow your instructions, and stay seated unless an immediate evacuation is required. Step number 2, if an evacuation is required, ask a customer to stand outside the front door to assist and account for other customers. Step number 3, ask another customer to lead all remaining customers to a designated location, a minimum of 100 feet away. Step number 4, call the dispatcher on the radio if safe to do so, or call on the phone, or ask a customer to call. Step number 5, secure the scene by putting out triangles and gather information. Vehicle evacuations. The decision to evacuate a bus must never be taken lightly. In most emergency situations, it's normally safer for passengers to remain on board. You should not evacuate the vehicle unless it is absolutely necessary. However, there are situations where you will need to evacuate the bus immediately to protect the passengers from harm. If there is an immediate risk, evacuate the bus. Evacuate if the bus is on fire or serious risk of fire, including smoke. If any part of the bus is within 14 feet of a railroad track. You must evacuate if the bus is stalled or stuck in an unsafe location, such as on a railroad track or in a location where a high-speed impact from another large vehicle is likely. Evacuate if the bus is in a dangerous position on the road where it could get hit by another vehicle or tip over. Evacuate if you smell fuel or toxic fumes leaking into the vehicle. Evacuate if you see leaking fuel coming from underneath the vehicle. Evacuate if the bus is in water, such as a lake or river, or in danger of going in water. Evacuate if there is a specific threat from a passenger. Evacuate the bus if you suspect that a bomb or other weapon of mass destruction is on the vehicle. And finally, any other unsafe conditions that would make it unsafe to stay on the bus. Remember, if a decision is made to evacuate the vehicle, evacuate as quickly as possible. Once a decision is made, speed is of the essence, especially if there is a threat of fire, and always evacuate upwind of the vehicle. Prepare to offer customers with disabilities additional assistance. Remember, the lift will not operate with the engine off. You may have to cut or remove customer restraints and leave mobility aids behind. You may have to carry or drag a customer with a disability from the bus. Ask other customers for help if necessary. Securing the scene and helping customers exit the bus should be your highest priority.
What are the 7 emergency management steps? Number 1, remain calm. Number 2, assess the situation. Number 3, protect people and their property. Obtain help or call dispatch. Reassure and assist your customers. Secure the scene and also gather information. Emergency vehicle evacuation involve the following scenarios. Bus is on fire or serious risk of fire, including smoke. If any part of the bus is within 14 feet of the railroad tracks, being stalled or stuck in unsafe locations, such as railroad tracks or in a location where a high-speed impact from another large vehicle is likely. Bus is in dangerous position on the road. fuel or toxic fuels leaking into the vehicle. You see leaking fuel coming from underneath the vehicle. Bus in the water, such as lake or river, or in a danger or going in water. Specific threat from a passenger. Suspicions that a bomb or a weapon of mass destruction on the vehicle, or any other condition that would make it safer for the passengers to evacuate the vehicle.
A violent confrontation on a city bus today in Montebello. The trouble started when a passenger in a wheelchair asked another man for some space so he could get off the bus. KCAL 9's Dave Lopez shows us what happens next.
It's 12:40. A Montebello city bus is headed down Whittier Boulevard and stops just past Gerhardt. Suddenly, a man in a wheelchair is being hit by a man on the bus. The bus driver calls 911, tries to stop the fight. Passengers scramble off the bus. One calls 911, so do I, and you can hear this man screaming and cursing at the top of his lungs.
What you want, you want something with me?
The man in the wheelchair was bleeding. He told me all he wanted to do was get off the bus, and he asked the man to please move and give him some space. The man who was yelling said, "No one touches me." And off the bus, he was still screaming. He's in a wheelchair,
You don't put his hands on me.
All right, relax.
All right.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
You and anyone else.
All right, take it easy.
Don't put your hands on me.
All this happened on the same bus line, on the same route, and at the same corner where on Monday morning, this man on camera leaned over and stabbed a student who was on his way to East LA JC. That stabbing suspect is still on the loose. And so is this man, who after he was yelling and screaming, and the bus company called for a second bus to get the passengers out of the area, tried to get on that bus and was kicked off. He didn't hit anybody else, but he threatened to. And shortly after that, he walked across Whittier Boulevard and disappeared. Sheriff deputies arrived 20 minutes after the initial 911 call was made. But by then, the man was gone, and he still hasn't been found. As for the man in the wheelchair, he told me he's okay. He was treated on scene, transported to another bus, and left. From East LA, Dave Lopez, KCAL 9 News.
Security awareness. As a driver, you must remain alert to unusual or suspicious activity on and around your vehicle. When it is appropriate to do so, you must take action in a timely fashion and enforce our security measures. If you see something that seems out of the ordinary and potentially hazardous, it should be immediately reported to dispatch, who will take the appropriate actions and/or notify the appropriate authorities. Threats of violence is something we have to look out for on the bus. Violence on the bus may include verbal abuse, physical assault between customers, and sexual harassment. Be aware of customers that are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Also be aware of customers that are angry or respond angrily when greeted. There are steps to remember when dealing with violence on the bus. You should stop the bus. Ask the person to stop the violence. Call the dispatcher and request the appropriate assistance, such as police or medical. Encourage the person to escape by opening the doors. Have the person removed from the bus, even if they stop their violent behavior. Remember, if the person stops the violent behavior, continue on your route, but be sure the police meet you and remove the person from the bus.
As a professional driver, you must remain alert to unusual or suspicious activity and around your vehicle. When it's appropriate to do so, we must take action in a timely fashion and enforce our security measures. If you see something that seems out of the ordinary and potentially hazardous, it should be immediately reported to dispatch, who will take the appropriate action and/or notify the appropriate authority. Violence on the bus may include customer assaulting drivers, verbal abuse, physical assault between customer, and sexual harassment. If any of this happened in your bus, please make sure that you are equipped with the drive cam and record it for your safety and your safety of other client on board. Also, in regards to staying aware of your surrounding, keeping your customer safe, remember to be aware of customers that are under the influence of drugs and alcohol, that are angry or respond angrily when greeted. If you do encounter this type of situation, the step to remember: one, stop the bus, ask the person to stop the violence, call dispatcher, request the appropriate assistance, for example, police or medical, encourage the person to escape by opening the doors, and have the person removed from the bus even if they have stopped their violent behavior. Any of this, please notify your dispatch. Please fill up an incident report so we can report this. Now we're going to watch a couple of drive cam review. Video one will be regarding pedestrian, and also video number two will be regarding bicyclists. And please answer the questionnaire or what you see on video one and video two. How could the driver have avoided this? Well, we know that we always look 15 seconds ahead. Rock and roll. Look left, right, left again. Make sure the crosswalk is clear before turning. And always watch for the pedestrian. Make sure that they're on the other side of the sidewalk. And make sure that your path is clear before making the initiative turn. So just make sure you are aware of your surrounding.
You okay?
How could this collision have been prevented? Make sure that the intersection, it's clear. Look left, right, and left. Do not accelerate through the intersection. Always cover your brakes. When stopped, pause for 3 seconds before accelerating. Don't be first on race day. I like that term. Make sure that even though it's a green light, that don't give you the right of way. We always have to watch the intersection. Expect the unexpected. Always expect there will be a pedestrian or a bicyclist or even a red light runner. They're going twice the speed. Try to beat that red light. If you were the first one in that intersection, when that light turns green, usually the car on the left side will be the first one that's gonna hit you. So make sure you're be safe. Always look 15 seconds ahead and always rock and roll. Always watch for that bicyclist pedestrian before crossing the intersection. Why is it important to expect the unexpected? Well, so that way we know that there will be a pedestrian at all time or a bicyclist in our surrounding area. Also, we all know that there'll be people other cars that try to beat the traffic light. So expect that. We don't want to get a T-bone accident on the intersection. We always want to see our drivers back to base safely. Thank you for your undivided attention and commitment to safety. Your manager will now discuss local trend and areas of focus. We want to make sure that we focus on side swipe. We've been having a lot of side swipe. The thing is that we're not looking at our mirror, especially when turning or getting too close to a parked vehicle, especially on a tight area where only one vehicle can go through the street. Make sure that if you are going through a narrow area and another car wants to challenge you, make sure you put your vehicle, stop your vehicle, put it in park, turn on your flashers and your hazards. Don't move the vehicle to the right, because if you do move your vehicle to the right, we have a chance of sideswiping a parked vehicle or sideswiping a curb. Please, hand position on the steering wheel is 9 and 2 and 10 and 3. That will give you more of control of the bus, just in case if you have to come to a sudden stop or somebody sideswipe our vehicle or a flat tire. So make sure that you watch your mirror every 5 to 8 seconds. Look 15 seconds ahead. Practice your rock and roll. Always look left, right, left. Always do a pre-back check. When you do a pre-back check, make sure you look in front of you, both sides of the bus, the rear of the bus, the top of the bus, and the bottom. Your bus is 10'6", so don't go anything under 10'6". If you're unsure, practice goal, get out and look. If you need assistance, please don't hesitate your supervisor. Following distance, reminding yourself following distance is 4 to 5 seconds. And always respect other motorists on the road. Thank you.